You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible.
Lauren, I guess the thing that this also driving me crazy, and I'm seriously, it's really driving me crazy. These cable shows, these networks are really getting on my damn nerves. I'm also tired of this whole electability issue because the reality is you're only electable if you get elected.
Yeah.
Okay? People said Donald Trump was not electable. He's sitting in the Oval Office.
Right.
There are people who said Barack Obama, not electable. His name is Barack Hussein Obama, two-term president. What I keep trying to tell people to understand is stop this silliness with electability. Yeah. People saying, well, is Elizabeth Warren, is she electable? Here's the deal. She came in third in Iowa. I don't know why that's no big deal. She's polling right now, third or fourth in New Hampshire. We'll see what happens. But my deal is to cable people. And I'm like, shut up
right.
and actually let voters do what they do by making their own choices and decisions.
Right, and the fact of the matter is that, like, I think it's something probably like 80% or 70% of the electorate is always already locked up when the thing starts. You have the people who are just built in who are going to vote team red, and the people who are going to vote team blue, and that's sort of how it is for most. And you've got the swings that are really the group that everybody is going after, sort of a 20%, maybe even less than that, part of the electorate. So once Donald Trump's name appeared on the ballot, I mean, that you knew he was going to get a baseline percentage. I think really what's going on with Pete Buttigieg is that he is like, he's like the John Ossoff right now for a lot of people. He's this person who's the shiny object. I don't meet too many people who actually think that he could beat Donald Trump. And part of that is predicated on the idea that he has only won a very small election where he is in South Bend. And obviously with the United States Senator, you know that they can at least win a state somewhere in the United States. And so for Warren and even Bernie Sanders, who of course represents a smaller state of Vermont, but still he's a senator, and he's already proven that he could beat Hillary Clinton in a few states on the last go-around, even though he didn't win, but there's a lot of support there. He also polled really well against Hillary Clinton and, of course, Donald Trump, which was an odd thing, but I think it was that populist message that both of them were talking about that sort of transcended party a little bit. Frankly, I think the panic on cable news is really about Bernie Sanders. There's a lot of haters of Bernie Sanders on cable news. They can't stand Bernie Sanders, and so anytime Bernie Sanders starts to surge, there's this panic that goes through the pundit class.
I mean, look right now. The new poll by Quinnipiac has Bernie Sanders in the lead. And here's my whole deal. Okay, guess what? If Bernie Sanders goes out and wins and gets to 1,900, he earned it. Okay?
Right.
You got the Carvilles of the world freaking out. And, this is the one that really got me to listen to James Carville today on the Morning Joe, where nobody pushed back on none of the nonsense he was saying when he goes, all this Pollyanna stuff. And then he said, let's just get to South Carolina so black folks can vote and show us the way. And I'm like, oh, so James Carville was black people to save white folks' ass.
Well, see, it's funny. I caught part.
I'm confused because I thought. Help me out.
I caught part of that Carville segment.
All about Biden. I thought it was about Biden and Sanders appealing to these white folks. Isn't it amazing that white people have voted in Iowa and they're voting in New Hampshire, and now Carville is like, black people, please save us.
Yeah, I really think, I hate to say this, but nobody can convince me that the part of this fear of Bernie Sanders is the fact that he's Jewish. I cannot talk myself into this not being, at the end of the day, about anti-Semitism. The reason I say that is that I think if he was a WASP, we wouldn't be having this conversation. He's got a Brooklyn accent, and he looks like a rumpled professor, so people are scared of him getting elected. And I have no idea why, because he has a populist message that a lot of Americans really agree with.
No.
And
I'll answer for you. I'll answer for you. Lauren, they're freaking out because Bernie Sanders is talking about them. The problem is they don't like the fact that Bernie Sanders, in his message, he's talking about the people who have controlled the process for years. That's why.
But Bernie Sanders has the same message. Bernie Sanders has the same message really as FDR, and nobody got freaked out because FDR.
No,
I
no,
just
no,
think.
no, no, no,
I think
no.
the fact.
FDR
I really
was a
think-
Democrat.
I really think the fact that he talks about poverty and he talks about things that a lot of these pundits, frankly, don't identify with.
That's what I mean.
Is problematic for them. And also, I do think it matters what his religion. I mean, people flipped out over Mitt Romney being a Mormon, if you remember, and it is it's something not talked about. But I just feel like if this was
Mike Bloomberg is Jewish.
Yep.
Right. That's
Yeah,
right,
but-
right.
They calling him, and they're saying that's the second coming.
And we talked about that a few weeks ago, Roland.
but Bloomberg is like further away from winning than Bernie Sanders. Right?
No,
I don't
think
know
so.
that. I don't
We're about
believe
to
that
find
at
out
all.
tomorrow.
I don't believe that at all.
I think Bloomberg
In fact,
is
given
the dark
what just
horse.
happened with Iowa, Bloomberg is looking mighty smart
Absolutely.
right now.
And that's the
because
reason why they
Iowa was a
changed it.
Well, here's the deal.
complete
Here's the deal.
disaster. New Hampshire, honestly, this is not going to start until you get past these first two
Sure.
states because Iowa is a wash.
You're right.
Really.
And the Democratic
it's way
Party.
too early to
They changed the
count it
rules
now.
for Bloomberg.
Avis, to be honest, the reality is all these discussions that these cable shows are having are all irrelevant until March 4th.
Yeah.
We will have
Absolutely.
a real understanding of what this race looks like after March 4th. Because here's the
Absolutely.
piece. What happens if Biden comes in 4th or 5th tomorrow?
Which
Then
he
comes
will.
second in Nevada. But wait a minute. No, hold up.
Yes.
But then win South Carolina. So
Right.
that means so then what? Is he now back on track? And then what happens on March 3rd
He
if
might not win
Bloomberg
South
wins
Carolina.
no states?
Yeah.
But here's my point. Okay, we don't know who's going to win South Carolina, but I'm making the point
Right.
that this race can do this. It can shift, it can move, and these people are actually doing a disservice to voters by let's tear down Sanders, let's build up Buttigieg, let's dismiss Elizabeth Warren, let's talk about how Klobuchar is doing so great, but nobody ever asked Amy Klobuchar why she can't get black votes.
Right.
The point is, let people decide. And I think, and again, my whole deal is I'm not endorsing anybody. I'm saying March 4th, we're going to have the best look as to who really is a strong candidate, by how many states they won, what kind of coalition they put together. But I'm not basing the whole world off 170,000 white folks in Iowa.
But the
Yeah,
panic,
I know it's a few black people and Latinos in there.
But the panic is Sanders. I'm telling you, the panic is around, oh my goodness,
Well-
if Sanders is the nominee. And that to me is strange because he,
Well,
It's
again,
not strange to me.
well,
Let me
guess
tell you
what?
why I don't
Calm
think
their
it's
asses
strange.
down.
I don't think it's strange. It's not strange because, number one, here's the thing. There's a couple of things with Bernie Sanders. Number one, he's not a Democrat. And that's a reality. I mean, this is someone who only is a Democrat when he decides he wants to run for president. And so after the last presidential election period, he put a lot of pressure on the Democratic Party to change rules, much of which they actually accommodated for somebody that's actually not even a member of the damn party. And then as soon as he sort of jumps back into the race, switches back to being a member of the Democratic Party, he simultaneously registers to run for re-election in the Senate as an independent. He's not a Democrat. And then you have the
Doesn't
way
matter.
that yes, it does matter.
He's
Because
not-
how
his-
much,
his
well, let me
name-
finish my
his
argument.
name
Let
is
me
gonna
finish my
appear on
argument.
the Democratic
Here's the
ballot.
issue.
Hold
This is why it matters. This is why it matters.
Wait. Avis, finish your point, then Lauren. Then I got to go to Greg Palace. Go.
Absolutely. This is why it matters, because we're talking about the level of hostility. If you're going to ask people to work with you, then you have to show an ability to work with them. You have to see. This is exactly what Hillary Clinton was talking about when he said people don't like you, and y'all didn't like to hear that. She wasn't talking about everybody in the world, but that's just plain common sense, okay? So people have changed
Got it.
rules to accommodate him, and as his campaign is running, let me just say really quickly, you will notice that he seems to focus like a laser on establishment Democrats in terms of his attacks. I do not see anywhere near the same level of vitriol aimed at Donald Trump, the person who he's supposed to be
Got it.
ultimately trying to run against. So when you have
Got
those
it.
sort
Lauren, real
of things
quick.
going on, you
His
can't really
name-
expect to have a lot of people sort of
I got it.
rallying behind you.
I got
who are
it. Lauren, real quick.
His name is going to appear on the Democratic ballot, whether there's an I there or not when he's in the Senate.
Yeah,
so
but you wanna know
it
why
is what
people
it
didn't
is.
like him. That's
The other
why.
thing is Hillary Clinton's
1 second,
crew.
Lauren, finish your point.
Hillary
Lauren, finish your
Clinton's
point.
crew with Mark Penn and those people were a big pain in the ass 8 years ago, and everybody put up with it because it was Hillary Clinton. There's something about Bernie Sanders, I'm telling you, that makes people oh my goodness, are we going to win? And I don't know what that is, because he's talking. He has a very populist message that people agree with, and we'll see what happens.
But it's socialist, and I just don't think that's going to be the answer. It's not going to work against Donald
All
Trump.
right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. Are you looking to enhance your leadership or that of your team in 2020? Well, you might want to join Dr. Jackie Hood Martin's newest online course and mastermind group, Successful People Think. She will be your guide as you learn timeless leadership principles to apply to daily living. Of course, she's a certified John Maxwell instructor, and so you want to take advantage of this. The offer expires February 28th. To register or to start the online course today, go to www.live2lead.com/Leesburg, right here. Live, the number 2, lead, LEAD.com/Leesburg. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video. You want to check out Roland Martin Unfiltered? YouTube.com/Roland S. Martin. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. See that name right there? Roland Martin Unfiltered. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so when we go live, you'll know it.